Hello and welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk with Victory. I am your host, Armira Blackwell, and sitting to my left and to my right are the lovely ladies of Let's Talk with Victory. How are we doing today, ladies?
Doing great.
Amazing. So today, we have another really hot topic for you guys, and we're going to be talking about finding balance. And when we say finding balance or establishing boundaries, and we mean that in every aspect of your life, finding boundaries in relationships, finding balance in your spiritual walk, finding balances with family, money, time, and all of those things like that. And so our first topic we're going to go to finding boundaries or finding balance in your spiritual growth. How does having boundaries impact one's relationship with God? How does boundaries impact your relationship with other people? It impacts your growth spiritually or just naturally, like in a natural sense. How does good and bad, how does having boundaries or trying to find a balance impact your growth?
I'll say for me, I do want to make this statement prior to me about to say what I'm going to say and speak on it. I'm not saying this to be boastful, but I'm in 9 ministries. I also volunteer at the church. So I have to prioritize to find, that's how I balance things out, which ministry. I might be doing this, say, on the first, might be doing this on the third, so I balance it out, like what ministry is first and which ministry is a priority. Also, as far as boundaries, when I'm ministering and doing certain things, I don't let certain things go in my ear gates. I don't answer the phone sometimes. I don't talk to certain people. And then when I get on the phone, and if I talk to you and you're not talking right, it's going to have to be cut. I'm not able to talk to you because I need a peace of mind, and I don't want anything to hinder me or take me off course or a person, just anything when I'm doing certain things, especially, like I said, like ministering or doing something for the kingdom. As far as boundaries with my family, I had to set those too because my family was kind of having a big impact on me being stressed out. I'm still there to be helpful, but I'm not now overexerting myself. I'm like, some of the stuff I can't fix. I'm let go and let God. I have a boundary that on the weekends, I don't check my mailbox. Look, the place closed. The business place closed. So look, they'll get that money or get whatever. They'll get it online. I could do it or Monday when they open, I could call and talk to them. Yeah, so my husband know, he be like, I said, I ain't checking the mailbox. He know if he open it and see something, a bill, he close it right back. Cause you know what I mean? And then he'll just go off a pay to do something because it became too stressful, like just like opening the mailbox, but like, oh my goodness. I'm like, well, wait a minute, what I'm gonna do?
Yeah. You know what I mean? Something. But I'm in this new season of boundaries and I'm loving it. Check this, y'all. So I've been at my job for a minute, right? And I love my job. I really do.
Oh, that's good.
But I got a revelation a couple of weeks ago that will never be my company. That is a job. So you get your time, you pay me for the days that I work, and then I'm going home. And it's okay because you know why? Other people doing it. Yeah. So I would feel guilty to take off. Yeah. I would feel guilty to tell my boss no, because he do pay my cell phone bill, but like when I don't answer his call, I'll be like, oh man, I missed his call. I'm like, look, y'all, my hours is Monday through Friday, 6 to 2 o'clock. I'm off. I am going home. And you have to find boundaries. And so what I did was I balanced the boundaries. So I said, okay, because they are really good to me, this is what I'm going to do for y'all. I deserve 2 raises, but just give me half, Like, I want the cost of living, and I deserve the merit. But just give me the cost of living and y'all keep the merit, and then I'm going to let things flow out right now because I have to establish the boundaries, right? So I think I'm being generous because I don't want to sticker shock them. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I work from home Monday through Friday, I don't want them to be checking for me. You understand what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? So I think boundaries is good. I'm really loving it.
I think boundaries are great. I feel like when you set boundaries, you teach people how to treat you.
Oh,
Like if you don't
definitely.
have certain boundaries and you allow people to continue to cross this line, allow people to continue to get all up in your personal bubble and not know what their place are. And even though it may not feel good to you, you be like, why they all up in my business? Why they overstepping their boundaries, the line? And it's like, have you really say, okay, this is what it is for me. This is how I am. Or do you continue to allow it? Because once you continue to allow it, or even if you allow it once, sometimes you give people an inch and they take a mile. And so you really have to sit and be like, look, and this is something that I'm learning because a lot of times I stretch myself to the thinnest point that I have. And so I'm learning that no is a complete sentence. And no is okay. no is okay. And to have that boundary to whereas it's just like, I am okay with doing stuff for myself and not feeling bad about it, not feeling bad that I can't be everywhere and every time I'm just a girl, there's only one of me. And so I have to really like be mindful because sometimes unintentionally even because for me, because I am always so willing and I'm always so open to be able to give myself, give my time, give my energy, people will unintentionally take advantage of that time, take advantage of that energy. They'd be like, oh yeah, we can just call Mira, so it comes with maturity. It's really hard. I'm struggling. Y'all keep me in deep prayer, but we will get that. And this is the same with my sister. My sister just recently got her first job and something happened and she needed to come home first. And she like, Mira, something, but my boss is asking if I can come in early. I'm like, you need to tell your boss something happened. You need to go home first and then you can come and go into whatever your regular time is. Set that line to whereas, they don't control you. They are a person like you are a person. Yes, they may sign your paychecks. However, just keeping.
I know for me, boundaries are very important, especially at work, because I have to teach boundaries. So it's hard to teach if you're not acting it and doing it for yourself. So for me, I work on a psych unit, and I'm salary, and they tend to think that they can call me and text me and ask me to do things when I'm off work. So I don't answer, and on weekends I don't answer the phone, and when I'm on vacation I've gotten phone calls while I'm on vacation, and what did you do before I got there? Figure it out. It's
gonna get
okay.
done.
And I've learned to respectfully challenge authority over top of me, not being disrespectful, but saying, look, this is what it's like here. This is what we're dealing with, because it's hard for people that are in a realm where they just make decisions, but they're not actively doing what you're doing. They think that you can do everything under the sun, and you can't feel bad about it.
That's when it comes when you don't establish a boundary, that you get burnt out, overworked, used. Sometimes it can be abused. I used to, when I was working at MVA, I was the one, let's say for instance, they say, oh, we're not going to ask A because they know she's going to say no, but we'll ask Dawn, which I'm B, because I'm going to say yes. And when I did say no, it was in the summertime, it probably was going to snow. Yes, it probably was going to snow, because I said no like, oh, no.
It's not disrespectful to say no.
Yeah,
Right,
no.
it's
It's how you say
It's
it.
healthy. It's healthy to say
It's
no.
healthy. It's
It's
a
healthy.
sentence. No reason.
I also have a different perspective, though, about some boundaries, too, because I feel like, I won't name people, but I feel like when people ask me to do certain things and to give certain things, don't try to set no boundaries with me now, because you wasn't setting boundaries
Yeah,
with
right.
me then.
Yes, yes.
So if
yes.
I have an opinion about your situation, and if I have a comment and or a question,
I'm saying.
please don't try to draw the demarcation line now. That doesn't work well for me,
That's what they, yes.
right? Because I'm gonna need you to keep that same energy. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? When you was
Right. They would do the little box like
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
okay. All right. Just
So
making sure.
how do we feel like our personal boundaries that we set impact our relationship with God? Like, I know for me, a boundary that I had, and it wasn't the healthiest boundary, like it was a unconscious boundary that I had, was that I just didn't, like, I wasn't talking, like I didn't get real in depth about my life, wasn't opening up about my life, even to people that I trusted the most, wasn't really like coming to nobody with my problems, with my issues, and that was a boundary that I had, and it impacted my relationship with God because it got to a point where I needed to be open, I needed to be vulnerable in order for my relationship with God to elevate, but because I had this boundary set and because I was standing 10 toes in it, it got to be really, really hard for me to open up to God, tell him all my problems, tell him all my issues, the one that I should be telling about all my problems, all my issues with no judgment whatsoever. So yeah, I feel like things that we have in place for ourselves also can affect our relationship with God and how we, in the position that we put God in.
Yes.
Well, I think Sister Dawn said she was in 9 ministries. Did you say 9 ministries?
Yes.
So for me, that's a little different. I'm gonna use different as a word. Because I have to ask myself, I'm maybe in 3 or 4, how am I being effective? Right? So with that being said, I have to set boundaries. Saffron, can you be a part of this? No. Can you do that? No. Can you come to this? No. And this is the thing. This is edifying to God because my house come first. So if my son have something to do, and so this is why I'm not stretching myself to 5, 6, 7, 8 ministries. No, I'm not. I can't come out 5, 6, 7, 8 times a week because he's 16 and he's a force to be reckoned with. And you ain't gonna be leaving him unattended. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm just saying this is for people who have a hard time with telling ministry no. God is okay. And this is the thing. And I'm not talking about the person lazy and don't want to do their responsibility. I'm talking about the people who always show up and feel like they can't take a day off, feel like they can't go do something else because of church. We are the body of Christ. You understand what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, it's one body, a different many members, and somebody else can do it. And this is the thing. I've been in situations, I have friends in ministry and they teach certain Bible classes and certain things, and they say, hey, I have another obligation that I cannot miss, but I've been teaching this class and could you fill in for me? You understand what I'm saying? It's respectable ways to do things and still get the job done. Where the ministry is edified, God is glorified, and you got a peace of mind with knowing that you made the right decision.
And you're right
That's
about
absolutely correct. And you know, if you're burned out, you're not helping anybody. You're not glorifying God, and you're not helping your members.
Being mean to the people.
Right. You can't do that.
Quality over quantity. That's what it sounds like you saying.
That's why I said you have to prioritize. That's what, you know, by the grace of God and giving me strength and restoring myself, I'm able to multitask and do those. And my goal is to do them, to be effective and effective with it. You know, before, and I have said no to several ministries, but my reason for being in the ministries was not to, not saying you're saying it with me, to be in everything. When I became disabled, I said, oh my goodness, I'm like, what am I going to do? My life then changed. I'm no longer a teacher. I'm no longer this. And I was sitting and all I heard God say is ministry. And I'm like, ministry? You know, so that's where I get a lot of joy from.
No, I understand.
Because yeah, that's why I'm saying, not saying that you said it.
No, because I would just want to
for
clarify
me.
something.
Yeah.
When I first became serious about doing the things of God, I had to be a part of a lot of things to keep me focused,
Right,
to keep
right.
me grounded,
Yeah,
to
definitely.
keep me rooted. And then as I mature in the things of God, He's teaching me, right? Okay, now you have to find the balance right? So you're a part of all of this and you're doing all this, because this is the thing, ministry for me goes beyond victory.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Not only
Yes.
is it my family, I have
Yes.
friends.
Yes.
I
The
have
streets.
people who
Mine's the streets, too.
depend on
Streets,
me
yeah.
to the capacity in which I'll allow. You understand what I'm saying? Encouragement, my money. You understand what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
everything.
Outreach. So there's other things that, you know, we can do. You know, you understand what I'm
Well,
saying?
we all
But-
ministers.
yeah,
through
for different
yeah, of
people, it
reconciliation.
looks different, right?
Right,
So
right.
no, I'm not knocking whatever
Yeah,
it
no,
takes
no.
for you.
Yeah,
you know?
no, not at all.
But
no.
you said something important, the point to which you allow,
Which
right?
Yeah.
So I think it's possible to say no to people, but not necessarily be saying no to God.
Right.
Like you have to be clear on what the boundary is for, like why
Right.
you're creating it. And you're a better steward of what you have when you are appropriately determining who gets this piece of me,
Right.
who gets this gift, and still being submitted to God. I find, like you mentioned, you know, they call for the people call whomever can come and help. My best place ain't the kitchen. I might be better served somewhere else.
Right,
I had to make a decision like, let me do the things I'm most effective
Yes,
at.
yes,
Let me
yes.
choose the things I'm most effective at and serve there versus burning myself out doing
Yeah.
multiple things. And then I can have balance.
Yeah.
I can serve my aging parents. I can go and visit my family that lives away from here. I can work on my relationships, friendships. I can build ministry and have ministry in other contexts, but it requires me to be balanced.
I
Yeah,
thought you
and I
said I
just-
had to serve my Asian
I thought
parents.
you said Asian too. I'm not even going. I'm not even going to hold you. I thought you said Asian too, and I had to go back and I had to think.
I am very blessed to have two 75-year-old
Amen.
parents. My mom and dad.
Oh, that's
Hello.
wonderful. That's wonderful.
Something just popped in my head. So how do you like keep yourself or maintain a boundary in like with your friends and families and people that you are petitioning God for? How do you set a boundary to whereas you are not trying to take God's job from him and save them?
That is
And-
the toughest one.
Yeah.
That's why I said let go and let God.
So
That's
what signs or what things have you set for yourself to whereas if you see that happen, you're like, okay, I need to step back, I need to let go and let God handle
When
this.
it
Like, what point do you feel that you get to when it's just like, okay, I'm doing way too much and I need to let God
when
handle this?
when I see the situation is becoming repetitive.
Or when they keep
yeah.
coming to you before they even talk to God about it. Like,
Yeah.
did you pray
And
about
that's
it?
the
Did you talk to
right.
God about it?
That's
Why
the
am I
first
the first
thing.
person you hit up about it?
And a lot of times, no. It's like, pray for what? I'm calling you, girl. Let me, like, no, I can't do nothing. Not right now.
Well, I always offer them prayer. I just, my couple dollars, that's a different story.
Yeah,
I ain't trying to be Lord over your life. So you need to go seek the king for a kingdom account. Okay, so you can get something from it. But,
Yeah, we
no,
should.
I offer them prayer. Much as say, well, you want to pray for that again? Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know,
And I was
but
going to say,
when it
too,
comes to my resources, I don't want to be Lord over anybody's life. And this is the thing: if I keep opening up my purse and my wallet, you never. Not only
yeah.
am I taking God's place to be your source,
Uh-huh. You preaching.
culture person, Negro, you ain't gonna feel like you need to get a job, right? You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
Take care of your own family.
Right,
So,
that's it.
Yeah.
I was going to say, you learn how to step back, Mira, when you also, if you're praying for them and you're helping them and it becomes confrontational, you never want to battle. Let the word of God be a battle, because no, it's not a battle for us to battle, you know. So you continue to pray for them. You just continue to see, you know, be an example for the family member or what have you, but you never want to battle with them.
I feel like also if you get to a point where you feel like the gratification is all coming to you, like the thank you, all of the praises, they're coming to you and not going to God. That's when you're like, okay, I'm overstepping the boundary that me and God have created as a petitioner of God, as a follower of Christ, as an advocate for God. Now I am kind of pushing him off and being more to you than I need to be. And so I feel like that but also again that comes with your maturity in your walk with God when you realize it's like, dang, I'm doing a little bit too much. I'm gonna continue to keep you in prayer, but I have to let you handle this yourself, because when you, because I can't do your walk with God for you. You have to do that yourself. That's a decision that you have to make on your own. And so when it comes to feel like I'm pulling teeth or I'm kind of like forcing you to do it, because God didn't force me to trust him, God didn't force me to love him, so I can't push you and force you to do it and then overstep my grounds. And I think that also comes with it kind of ties in with like the boundaries that we set for our relationships and our families, because sometimes that's when it happens. We love these people so much. We want to see these people saved so much. We want them to experience and know what we know, that we start overstepping our boundaries as, I'm your sister. Yes, I'm your sister. I'm your daughter. I'm your friend. But you have to do this for yourself. As much as I want to see you in that place and know what I know, you have to do it for yourself.
But you have to also remember that God took a while with us. So if he did it for us, he'll do it for them.
Right.
You just have to have confidence in that and just trust God to move on their behalf. He's still working on us, so clearly he got time for them too.
And
And
I
every
think when
walk
it
is
comes
different.
with
Okay.
ministry, I think we have to be careful in setting boundaries. I think boundaries are definitely healthy. But I'm saying if you're walking with somebody through their walk with Christ, I mean, I have a friend, we've been friends for a really long time. And, you know, she's a babe. You know, I'm on the walk with her, and I'm going to stay there, you know, even when I don't feel like answering her phone call, even when I don't feel like being bothered, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna, you know, walk with her because she needs me, and it's just not for her. It's for God, you know. I've made a commitment, you know what I'm saying, to do a thing. And, you know, even with our kids, you know, I feel like a lot of who they are is because of who we are, you know, and how we train them, you know. So you just can't cut me off at the knees now that you feel like you don't want to do this today. You know what I'm saying? I think that's kind of unfair to a certain extent. But, you know, you establish what we doing here. Okay, I'm going to give it to you this time, but don't ask me again. I'm not doing it again.
Right, and learn.
Right, exactly. If it's not a lesson in it, then, you know, they just using you. Then
I
it's
wanted to
something
touch
different.
on something that you had said about people giving you praise and stuff. Our pastor is a perfect example. When he comes out of here, when he comes out and stands here, he says, don't give me praise. Y'all praise God. You know, and also, too, everybody's walk is not the same, and everybody's walk. People tend to compare, because I've had it done with me, and I'm like, girl, if you only knew, you know, looks deceiving. You know, my walk, not your walk, not my walk. But the thing is, both of us can walk together, you know?
I think, you know, you asked about how do you know, like when you're, you know, frustrating that boundary. And I think it's like when you kind of get weary or you get
that's good.
emotional.
Yeah.
Or like you want to rush the result of what you expect the other person to be doing. Like you mentioned, walking with a babe. I trust that God is going to grace me for that kind of assignment. And while I'm pouring out, I'm not pouring out of my flesh, I'm pouring out of my wellspring. I think it's different when the person who is giving is pulling out of their pocket or is, you know, giving up their spare room or giving rides, and you can see yourself kind of being depleted by what's given out. To me, that lets me know that I'm not giving it because God is not restoring it back to me or equipping me to hold the assignment, you know, to journey with this person. And then that leads to frustration, leads to resentment. So I'm not doing it in the right spirit anymore. And I'm not bringing the spirit of God to the thing because now I'm frustrated, I'm emotional, I'm in my flesh. So I think that's the fine line that lets me or lets people know, like, hey, I'm out of my
And you have to
space.
distinguish the two, because I didn't know previously. You have to distinguish, is it someone using you, or
Are you
is it-
volunteering?
Right,
Because
exactly.
sometimes
Are
you
you just
insert
giving?
yourself
Yeah.
into a
Right.
situation that looks bad, and you know that
Yep.
you are equipped intellectually, resource-wise, to help. they may not have even needed your help.
Yes,
they may
I've been
not
through
have
that. I've
asked.
been through that.
And then you're extended, but you're in a place where you weren't even really assigned to be. So,
Yeah, having a discernment. And like you said, people just want to be that person. You want to say you're the person that, oh, I did that, or I did that. So, like you said, Lavelle, that's operating out of flesh.
Yeah, that's not good.
or
You know,
or
and
you
that's
see,
not-
or you see the need,
Yeah.
and
And you
because
jump
you
in.
see it, you jump in,
Yeah.
not realizing there's another network that needs
Yeah.
to happen, or that person's family
Yeah.
should step
Or
in and do
pointing
it.
them to the right
Or
place.
pointing them to the right
That's
place
it
and
right
not
there, yeah,
doing
and
it
help,
for
yeah.
them,
Resources,
equipping them,
yeah.
empowering them to go get the resources, help,
Yeah.
treatment, whatever it may be that they
Stepping
need.
back.
So what
Absolutely.
about in the sense of like there we have the people who say like this is what they want and I want you to help me in getting to the place where you are. What about setting boundaries for people who are on the outside of it, like people who are non-believers, people who that may not necessarily be what they want, but still as followers and advocates of Christ, it's still our job. Now, granted, we're not, shoving it down their throat, not throwing the Bible in their face or doing anything like that, because they still have the free will to make their own decision, but still setting a boundary to whereas even if they are in our life, they know who we are as Christians, who we are as people, but still setting that boundary because the beliefs and the morals that you have, it may not be the same that I have, but I don't want to clash, and there's still love there as
Right.
family or whatever the case may be, but I just don't want to,
You
I
just
don't
offer it up. You just offer ministry to them. Like you say, you don't shove it down their throat, and they will reach out to you when they need it, and that might lead to them following you to Christ, or it might lead to them visiting somewhere else. What do you say? One waters, one plants, one waters, and God gets the increase. So, don't be territorial over people.
Right.
Just offer Christ and keep it moving, and they'll find you. And then if like you said, you have someone that's following you and babe in Christ, then definitely don't turn your back on them.
Or also just like in the things that they do, like, okay, you're doing this, so I can't be around, even though if I'm not partaking in it, I
yes.
can't be
Oh,
guilty
yes.
by association.
Yeah, I
So
won't go.
our church is an excellent example of that. For example, I have cousins and family and coworkers or associates that I've invited them to come to our poetry slams or the different events that we've had here, and they were like, "Wow, I never would have come, or I never would have gone to church for something like that, and I like it. I want to come back." So that's one way, because of the ministries that we do have at a church, it gives us leverage to invite them to come to things, and then it opens up a conversation where you can talk about, them giving their life to Christ or what have you. The boundary part can come in also because as I invite them to things, family members oftentimes or friends invite you outside of church. But the boundary is, no, I'm not going to sit at the bar, or no, I'm not
That's
going
right.
to partake or go to an area where you might have hookah, whatever it's called.
Choke it.
What is
Yeah,
right
I'm
being
like,
in choke it?
no.
Or I'm not going to go to a party
'Cause
or
you don't want
something
your
because
evil
that's
spoken of.
infringing
definitely
on
not.
me and what my beliefs are, So my friends and family members know there's certain things you're not going to invite me to because I don't partake or I don't believe in those particular things. However, that doesn't stop me from reaching out to them to invite them to the things that I do believe,
Some people might say I'm too deep because my mind already be gone the next week, or just yeah, be good. I mean, it's always sometimes going which can be good and bad, but it was a event, and it was church, right? And the wording that was going to be sent out, it would have made people think that we were drinking.
Okay.
I'll say that. So I had interjected and said, don't say this, don't say that, whatever. And we wound up just having cider. It was cider.
Okay.
Not end up. We was always going to have cider. Let me put it that way. Wait a minute, not end up. I just realized what I said. Yeah, wait a minute. We was always going to have it. Yeah, but the way the way the words was would have looked like we was, going to drink. And I was like, no, wait a minute, y'all, we got to change this.
Yeah.
Well, ladies, we're going to have to put a cap in this for right now. We might have to come back to this because I feel like we got a lot more to say. But we want to thank you for tuning in to this episode of Let's Talk with Vickery. Of course, we want to thank our pastor. We want to thank Victorious Ministries for allowing us to be a part of the vision of this house. And until next time, we will see you later.